Hello, my dear apprentices. This is your coach, Mr. Magno, with one more incredible math lesson. All right, on this one, we're going to divide. We're going to convert division into a fraction and then divide. We're going to use decimals as we move along through this lesson. Let's look at this. So now we have 2.2 and 4 tenths. Now that becomes a numerator, and 8 tenths that becomes a denominator. Notice that they both have a tenth as a on the tens place, only that. No hundredths, no thousandths. And this is the reason why we multiply both of them by 10. Here's what happens. When you do that, I'm going to demonstrate to you why that is done. So let's say this is the place value chart, and I'm going to place the 2 point, this is where the decimal point is, the 2.4 here. When you multiply a number such as that one, the 2.4 moves to the left of the decimal point, which means the 2 is going to end up as a 2 tenths instead of 2 ones, and the 4 tenths becomes 4 ones. And this is why when we do that, the result or the product is 24. We're going to repeat the process with 8 tenths. So decimal point 8, again times 10, and let me repeat again, it is multiplied by 10 because they both have a tenth as on the right side of the decimal point, which is only 1/10. Anyways, going back to this problem, it's now multiplying this by 10 will move the 8 to the left, and now it's no longer 8 tenths. It's 10 times bigger, which is now 8. Okay, and you can write it as 8.0 or 8. Now this creates a division which is 24 divided by 8, which if you're a good student of mathematics, you know that the 8 goes into the 24 3 times. 8 times 8, 3 times 8 equals 24, and the remainder is 0. So our quotient is 3, okay? And that will be the total of this, that will be the quotient of this division. All right, so that will be explaining the problems that they presented to us. Let's do the second one. Now, notice that this one is 2 and 4 tenths, which is only one number to the right of the decimal, and this is a hundredth. So this is two numbers to the right of the decimal. That's the reason why we multiply these two numbers. Before we do that, we convert it into a fraction. Here is the fraction. The first number, 2.2 and 4 tenths, becomes the numerator, and a hundredth becomes the denominator. Now, to get rid of the decimal points, we multiply them by 100. And you're going to ask yourself, why 100? Because the number that has the most um, places to the right of the decimal number dictates which number we're going to multiply it by. And it's going to make sense in a moment. Watch this. So 2.4, we're going to write it here. Remember, let's label this. This is ones, the ones. These are the tens, and these are the hundreds. And then we go to the right of the decimal, we have the tenth, then we have hundredths and thousandths. Okay? Now, once we present that, let's place that 2.4 that is going to be multiplied by 100. So 2 and 4 tenths times 100, that means each number is going to be 100 times bigger. So now move it once, move it twice. Now the 2 is no longer a 2 ones, it is 200ths. And the 4 is going to be moved once, twice. So now it is, instead of being 4 tenths, it is 40. So let's put a 0 so we know it's a 40. There we go. And this is why we have this this quotient on the numerator. Actually, that multiplication on the product. Now, let's multiply this number, 8 hundredths by 100. Let's label again. This is our place value chart, which is our best friend because it makes it very simple to divide in this way. So decimal point here, this is 1/10. Now remember, all these numbers to the right of the decimal point are less than 1. Remember that. These are the hundredths, and these are the thousandths. Where, hold on. 8 times 10, and 8 times 10 again, that's going to make it a number 8 wholes. But 8 times a missing number, will equal 24. So that number will be 3. 8 times 3 equals 24. Now, if we can look at this, we have a 0, an extra 0. So that will be, how can we make this one true? Well, then we make this a 30. So the product is going to be 240. So how many times the 8 goes into that 240? The answer is 30 times. 30 times 8 equals 240. And the remainder is 0. Now we're going to divide 240 by 8. So the 8 goes into the 24 3 times. 3 times 8 equals 24. The remainder is 0. We lower that 0 and we ask ourselves how many groups of 8s can you make out of 0? And the answer is 0. So now the answer is 30. All right, my friends, this video, watch it again if you need to. I'm going to present a few more with another problem from this lesson. Signing out, your coach, Mr. Magno. Enjoy the video.